Okay. So we move from one story to another. I shouldn't say story, major blockbuster. I wouldn't call the Little Mermaid a blockbuster, but we do go from one film that's starting out in May to another one. We're going to go all the way to July. And I have raved about this movie for months and months and months and months. I think it's going to be the number one box office sensation. I think it's going to do huge numbers. I think it could even do $1 billion. And I was right on a couple of these things before. And I'm talking about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. This has so many things going for it. Okay. Number one, it's coming out right in the heartbeat of the summer in July. Okay. That's first and foremost. Number two, you've got the Tom Cruise goodwill of Maverick behind it. Okay. Number three, you have the part one moniker, which means there is going to be another part. We are going to be getting it next year. And this is going to be non-stop action. Okay. The reason I bring this up is because ING, and normally I don't use them, but they are the ones that broke the story, so I'm going to give them credit where credit is due. ING came up with the exclusive that of the runtime. So ING broke the story about the Dead Reckoning Part 1 runtimes revealed. Excuse me. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 has officially locked in its runtime, and it's the longest Mission Impossible yet, but still shorter than certain rumors. But still shorter than rumors had it at. ING can exclusively reveal that Dead Reckoning Part 1 will clock in at 2 hours and 36 minutes without credits. And that's important because when we always talk about movies, let's say we say a movie is, I don't know, 2 hours and 15 minutes. Okay. The fact is that you always are going to have that. I give it a 5 to 7, and Marvel films probably a little bit more window of credits. And of course, they want to make you stick around. So, but it's about 5 to 7 minutes. So that's important. 2 hours and 36 minutes without credits. Pushing it just past 2018's Mission Impossible Fallout, which had a runtime of 2 hours and 27 minutes. Director and co-writer Christopher McQuarrie confirmed earlier this week that he had a locked picture on Dead Reckoning Part 1's Instagram. So he put out, and I actually did a story about this, okay? McQuarrie had actually put out this cryptic picture. We don't know what it is. We know it's a lock. We don't know what's behind the door, or if it's a closet, or whatever it is, but we know that's a lock. And, okay, we can pretty much deduce this is going to be the MacGuffin, okay, of the whole film. And of course, we see Tom Cruise here after what I imagine would be a battle with the bad guys. And I have no inside knowledge about this, guys, just speculation. What I imagine is a battle with the bad guys, and they think they got away with it. And Cruise says, "Oh, by the way, I've got it right here." So my guess is that the next scenes following this, you're going to see them try to get to this location right here to try and unlock whatever it is. And as you can see, the shape of the lock is the same shape as the key that Tom is holding. So that's important to know too. So that little key, what he's holding, is what we call a MacGuffin. So a MacGuffin is, it could be the key here. It could be the Ark in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It could be the Infinity Stones in Infinity War. It could be any number of things. Think about, and when I say this, I mean like action adventure. They're not in drama. Sometimes they are, but usually it's what the antagonist and the protagonist and the antagonist are fighting over. So, as I said, Raiders of the Lost Ark, you've got the Covenant, the Ark of the Covenant. You've got Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. You have this key. You have the Infinity Stones with Thanos and the Avengers. So, whatever it is, okay, that's what a MacGuffin is. So, whenever you hear that term, go, what is it? That's what you're looking for. Okay, so back to the piece. The runtime of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 has been the subject of plenty of speculation, especially from Paramount Global President Bob Bakish, commented in March that the movie is, quote, a complete thrill ride, but was still, quote, too long at that point. And that came from IndieWire. In recent weeks, rumors have begun to swirl about what the runtime could look like. As recently as earlier this week, an unconfirmed but widely circulated tweet claimed that it would come in at 2 hours and 45 minutes, which is not the case. The Mission Impossible series has seen slowly increasing runtimes, following a Hollywood trend that more and more blockbusters are clocking in at 2.5 hours. So, think about John Wick, right? John Wick was around the latest John Wick was about 2 hours and 45 minutes. Avatar, if you want to call that a blockbuster, 3 hours and 12 minutes. Infinity War was 2 hours and 58 minutes. Endgame was 3 hours. Babylon was 3 hours. So you're saying a lot of these runtimes go up. The first Mission Impossible back in 1996 had a runtime of 1 hour and 50 minutes, modest by 2023 standards, and climbed to 2 hours and 4 minutes for Mission Impossible 2. Mission Impossible 3 was comparable with a runtime of 2 hours and 6 minutes, while Ghost Protocol hopped up to 2 hours and 13 minutes. Rogue Nation bucked the trend slightly with a runtime of 2 hours, or under 2 hours, a runtime under 2 hours. Ghost Protocol, before hitting a series high with Fallout. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is the 7th installment in the Tom Cruise franchise and will hit theaters on July 12th, having recently been pushed up 2 days. Of course, they did that at CinemaCon because they were so confident about that, and they showed about 20 minutes of footage. According to the official synopsis, now this is an official synopsis. This is no spoilers. I want to be absolutely crystal clear about this. It will see Cruise's Ethan Hunt and the IMF team, quote, embark on their most dangerous mission yet, to track down a new terrifying weapon that threatens all of humanity before it falls into the wrong hands, end quote. In addition to Cruise, Dead Reckoning Part 1 stars Haley Atwell, Vin Rames, Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Elise Morales, Vanessa Kirby, Palm Kalinoff, and Henry Zarin. In the sequel, and then the second one is set for June 28th of 2024. Okay, so a couple things. Number one, I like the fact that we're getting longer runtimes, okay? Because it means more story. Now, I've always said this. I'm all about story, okay? My thing is this. I don't want this to be dragging on and on and on, okay? A couple of things with these franchise-ending films. Number one, you have to end it in the right place, okay? There are films that have done it very well, franchises that have done very well, and then there are those that have not done it so well. I always go back to it, but take Infinity War. Infinity War was one of those films that was split into two parts that did it magnificently, because, and if I watched the commentary, the director commentary on this, and what Joe and Anthony Russo had said is it was a tragedy. It wasn't, what it was. That being said, the other thing too, it has to fit the story, right? So I don't want to see this be, have like a 2 hour and 10-minute thing, and they could have added 10 minutes more. Okay. I want to see this exactly where the story is. Number two, and by the way, that was a major risk for them. Not that financially, okay, but where they ended the film. So there is a plot point called the point of no return. And anybody who's ever seen any movie, okay, knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's a plot point in which the hero, okay, looks like everything is lost. So they're not going to get to their goal, or they're not going to make their jump, or whatever it is, okay? And that being said, that is what it is. So it's called the point of no return. And that's what Infinity War did. They ended it right at the point of no return. And the villain won. You never see that, because you always see the hero come back and beat the villain. Not in this part, okay? So it ends, of course, with Thanos sitting out there on his planet in Titan, and basically looking up and smiling. So it's going to depend on where they end this. Now, a franchise that did not do it well, in my opinion, is the Hunger Games. It didn't work. So when we started the second Hunger Games, you had, the male character. They rescued him, and the whole thing was, he was trying to get better. It didn't work. So you have, Harry Potter did it well too. So that being said, it's all going to depend on where they end this. Okay. And 2 hours, 36 minutes is a good piece. I think you're probably going to see right around the same runtime of the next movie, if I had to guess. Just speculation. Because they want to keep it right around an equal amount. I mean, they're not going to make the last one 3 hours. They're just not. Okay. They'll make the last one probably like 2 hours and 20 some odd minutes. Okay. Because they want to keep it right around the same runtime. So they don't feel because you want to split it right down the middle. All that being said, I think it's a good runtime. And I think that it's one of these things where, and that's the other thing too about Mission Impossible. It's fast paced. You're always moving. I mean, you are going to have your set pieces, okay? Whether it is them fighting on the train, or you see the jump, at the end of the very first trailer over a year ago now. But you see the very first, trailer with the motorcycle jump, whatever else. You're going to have your set pieces. And then you're going to have your slow times, them in dialogue heavy and everything else. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think this is the right runtime. And as I said, I can't wait for this. This is going to be the absolute movie of the summer. And by the way, guys, stay tuned, because I am doing a Mission Impossible rewatch series right now. I am on Mission Impossible 3. You can go check out the other two on the channel. And by the time July 12th comes around, I will have gone through all of the other Mission Impossible films, and I will have done videos on them and everything else. And by the way, speaking of, and I was just talking about this earlier, this is another one of those films we just saw. The Little Mermaid, open selectively. This is a movie that moved up 2 days. Okay, that's how confident they are. So, yeah, I think this is going to be phenomenal. I don't think you're going to. I think it's always going to be interesting, because the only way you're going to be able to really take this in, okay, is take it in, watch it a couple times, and then look back 5 years from now and be like, okay, which one was the best? And that's when we're all going to do the rankings of all of these. So, anyways, guys, what do you think about the runtime of Mission Impossible? Is it too long? Is it too short? Where would you like to see it end? I know where I would like to see it. Leave me your thoughts down in the comments, and I will get back to everything.